You may be seated.
I want to sing the song and put the chorus going for the lesson. There's a land that is fairer than day, and by faith we shall see it afar. For the Father waits over the way to prepare us a dwelling place there. In the sweet by and by, we shall meet on that beautiful shore. In the sweet by and by, we shall meet on that beautiful shore. We shall sing on that beautiful shore the melodious songs of the blessed, and our spirit shall sorrow no more, nor aside for the blessings of rest. In the sweet by and by, we shall meet on that beautiful shore. In the sweet by and by, we shall meet on that beautiful shore. To our bountiful Father above, we will offer our tribute of praise for the glorious gift of His love and the blessings that follow our days. In the sweet by and by, we shall meet on that beautiful shore. In the sweet by and by, we shall meet on that beautiful shore. All right. So we thank God for being here this morning. Ask you to pray. God hold us up this morning as we go into the words of God. Thank God for God's words. The scripture says that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. And was every time in which we need to hear from God is now. We're living in a time of spiritual chaos.
Yes, sir.
We're living in a time of spiritual desperation.
Yes, sir.
Times to be desperate. But thank God that we don't have to get in despair, get all rushed, and get all anxious. We don't have to make a whole bunch of uncertain moves.
Yes.
But thank God that we can have a confidence in God.
Yes, sir.
That in spite of what is going on around us, we can have a confidence and a peace that surpasses, that the world cannot understand.
That's right.
The world don't understand this peace. Because Jesus didn't give this peace to the world, He gave it to His church. There's a peace that we as God's people we have, and the world don't understand it because they don't have it. So we thank God for the peace of Christ this morning. As we go into the scripture, I ask you to turn your Bibles with us to 1 Corinthians, the 13th chapter. 1 Corinthians, the 13th chapter, we're going to read verses 4 and 5. 1 Corinthians 13, 4 and 5, it goes like this. It says that charity suffereth long.
Yes.
Not only does it suffer, but it suffers long. I want to put emphasis on that word, long.
Yes.
How long? As one preacher used to say, as long as it's something to suffer.
All right.
As long as it's something to put up with. As long as it's something to endure, thank God that there's a love that endures. It says, charity suffereth long and is kind.
Yes, sir.
See, there's a kindness that exists in this long suffering. It's not long suffering with bitterness. It's not long suffering with impatience. It's not long suffering with complaining and murmuring. But thank God that there's a kindness.
Yes, sir.
Amen, brother.
It said charity in envious not, charity vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up, verse 5. It said, does not behave itself unseemly, seeketh not her own, is not easily provoked,
Right.
thinketh no evil.
Think you know evil.
Now, when we think about the fruits of the Spirit, and there's love, joy, peace, kindness is one of those fruits.
Right.
So I want to put a little bit of emphasis on kindness this morning.
Amen.
Okay.
God bless you.
Spiritual kindness. Okay? The scripture says that charity or love, it suffers long. There's long suffering in the love of God.
Amen.
We long suffer one with another.
Yes, sir.
We long suffer with the world. We put up with stuff on our jobs.
Sure.
We put up with stuff in our homes.
Yeah.
If we're not careful, we'll have less patience for the saints than the world.
Right. My God.
Because we feel that the saints should know. We feel that they should understand. But if there's any degree of kindness that we need to have it one for another.
Yes.
There's a long suffering and there's a kindness that's attached to it. Okay? There's a kindness that's attached to charity. It suffers long and is kind.
Right.
Thank God for spiritual kindness.
Amen. Thank God.
It says, see, when we're kind, the word kind, it means gentle.
Yes, sir.
Amen.
It means tender.
Right.
It means flexible.
All right,
It's
brother.
not stiff. It's not strict, but it's flexible.
Right.
It can be easily molded. Thank God that the saints of God are kind this morning.
Amen.
Thank God that we in the church of God, we have a spiritual kindness that the world don't understand.
Right.
The world don't understand how can you be so kind and so tender-hearted in this situation where this person did you wrong and you don't have any animosity, you have no bitterness, you have no resentment. Thank God that spiritual kindness, it evaporates all of that.
Right.
See, spiritual kindness, go with me to Ephesians the 4th chapter. We're talking about spiritual kindness this morning.
Amen.
Okay? Ephesians 4 and 31. And I'm going to read a little bit out of the Amplified version. But it says, go with me to Ephesians 4:31. It says, let all bitterness and wrath
Right.
and anger. These are some nasty things.
My God. Come on, bro.
Bitterness is like a cancer.
Right.
It is.
Bitterness is like a spiritual cancer.
It is, bro.
There's no such thing that you can be angry at somebody for 9 years
Oh, Lord. My God.
and not be bitter.
Right. Right, brother.
I'm saying it again. I said it is impossible for you to be angry at somebody for 9 years and not be bitter.
Right. That's true. That's it, bro.
Get it? Get it?
Amen.
I hope YouTube and Facebook, I hope they get this.
Praise the Lord.
Because I got people that was angry at me for 9 years.
My Lord.
Wow.
And you.
They're bitter.
Right.
They're bitter.
Amen.
It says, let all bitterness, all wrath,
Yes.
all anger,
Yes.
and clamor.
Yes. Come on.
Now, let's deal with this word for a moment.
All right.
Let's deal with this word clamor for a moment.
Lord.
Clamor, as defined in the scriptures here, it means perpetual animosity.
Wow.
My God.
Always got something against somebody. Always got a gripe. Always got something on your shoulder. Always got a complaint.
Right.
Complaining about this thing. Always got some type of something going. Always in counsel.
Come on, brother. Come on.
Can never be content. Always feel that somebody got something against you.
My God. Come on, brother.
Always feel that somebody got something against you. In the moment, and it better not be somebody who you feel got something against you. In the moment they may bring something to your attention. See, I knew you had something against me.
My God. My God.
My
They would
God.
just bring something to your attention. They wouldn't even think about you like that. But
brother.
clamor says perpetual animosity. Always got something going. Always got some type of gripe, some type of chip on the shoulder, something
My Lord.
against somebody.
Preach the word. Amen.
Can never be satisfied.
All right.
It said, let all bitterness, wrath, anger,
Yes.
perpetual animosity. Okay, this is not talking about just, I hate you. It's deeper than that. There's always something going on. You guys always feel like somebody got something against me. Me against you. Yeah, in my case, that's how I felt. It was me against the world. If you're not careful, you feel like it's you against the church.
Oh, Lord. Come on, brother.
So it says here, clamor, let resentment, all resentment, strife. Now watch this. This is part of it too, fault finding. Oh yeah.
Right.
Always looking to find fault with somebody or something.
Come on, brother. Right. God.
You know, watch this. I've seen people sit and do absolutely nothing in regards to maybe a project that we got going in the church, a project that we got going, and the saints are trying to get together. I've seen people do absolutely nothing and be the first ones to complain when things go wrong.
Right.
My God.
Amen, brother. Sure.
First one to complain
Right.
and did nothing.
Right.
Contribute.
Come on, brother.
Fault finding.
Right.
One preacher used to say, if you look hard enough for fault, you'll find it.
Sure.
If you look hard enough for fault in me, you'll find it. If you look hard enough.
Sure.
I'm in this life. I haven't learned everything.
Come on.
There's a whole lot of stuff I haven't learned. So if you want to look for fault, come to me. You'll find it.
Right. My God.
If you want some fault, come here. You'll find it.
Yes, sir.
My God.
But see, that's not spiritual kindness. Spiritual kindness don't work like that.
Right.
Spiritual kindness is not fault finding.
Right.
See, when we're kind, when we have spiritual kindness, the Bible says that love, it covers a multitude of faults.
My
The
God.
Bible says that love covers a multitude of sins.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes, it covers.
Covers.
Right.
Spiritual kindness.
My God.
It'll give you grace to see something and don't see it.
Amen, brother.
Now, I know that there's some things that need to be addressed. I get that.
Sure.
But we don't have to try to correct everything.
Right.
Some things the Lord just said, hush.
Yes. Amen, brother. Praise the Lord.
You don't have to go and complain about everything that you see is wrong.
Right. Right.
Right.
Right.
Because you might be part of that.
Yes.
My Lord.
Okay? You might be part of why it's not going right.
Right.
My Lord.
Then somebody come and say, well, she or he did. Well, wait a minute, they're the ones complaining, but they're the ones at fault.
Right.
My God.
Amen, brother.
Yes, sir.
So it says, let all bitterness,
All of
let
it.
all wrath,
Yes, sir.
anger. Come on, not anger. There's no anger in kindness now.
Right.
So
Amen.
now we can be angry to an extent, but I'm talking about just holding it
Yes.
and can't forgive.
Come on, brother. My Lord.
You know what? If we're not careful, a person may not ever see that they did us wrong, and we'll hold them. Because they never saw that they did us wrong, and they never came to repent.
Right.
It's not about them.
Right.
Yes, amen.
Because they might not even be saved.
Wow.
We don't know.
Wow.
This is the reason why we need to make sure that we're clear.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Right.
If they never come,
Right.
Come on.
Lord, I forgive.
Praise the Lord. Yes,
I'm not, I
sir.
ain't holding nobody.
That's it.
Amen.
That's who you are, bro.
I ain't holding nobody.
Amen. Yes, sir.
So it says here, let it be put away from you with all slander. With all slander.
Right.
Okay, let's deal with this for a moment.
Yes.
All slander. We don't say things about each other that are unsavory.
Yes. Come on, brother.
We don't make unsavory comments about each other.
Right.
Things that cause people to question.
Right.
Come on.
Somebody say something, I say, yeah, somebody might make a comment. I knew such and such and so, yeah, that's what, and say, making unsavory comments.
Right.
Okay.
Too. Yep.
We don't make them say things about each other as saints. We protect each other.
Right.
Okay? The Bible says, prove all things, hold fast that which is good.
Right.
We don't just take stuff just because somebody said it. Let's prove. Where's the evidence?
Right.
Yes.
Amen.
So it says, let it be put away from you, along with, I'm reading it out of the Amplified Version. Put it away from you, along with every kind of malice, all spiteful, verbal abuse.
Right.
Okay? We don't verbally abuse one another.
Right.
We're talking about spiritual kindness this morning. There's no verbal abuse in spiritual kindness.
Amen.
We don't say things to cut each other down,
Right.
to make each other feel bad.
Come on, brother.
We don't say things to even if it's true.
Right.
We need to be careful what we say.
Yes. Yes.
Even if it's true. See, the scripture says, as you would that a man should do to you, you need so to them. The scripture says, Jesus told, he said this. Think about, as that's one scripture. That's I'm losing my thoughts. Let's keep going.
Amen.
It comes
All right, bless you.
It says, Ephesians 4:32. We're talking about spiritual kindness this morning. It says, be ye kind one to another.
Tender.
Be ye kind
Yes.
one to another.
Yes.
Listen, the world don't care about your soul.
Yes.
Amen.
You get out there in the world, they don't care about your salvation. They don't care how much you want to be saved. They don't care about how much you want to get closer to God. The world, the spirit of the world don't care about that. Let us not spend so much time dealing with it and not taking the time to be more with another people that got your back.
Yes.
Okay, so it said, be kind one to another. He's talking to the church. There's no kindness out there in the world. You know, kindness, when it comes to spiritual kindness, is not like the faucet. I can turn it on for you and real hard. I can trickle it for you. And for you, I ain't got nothing for you. I just got it all the way off. But this person here is good and hot.
Yeah.
This person here is tepid. This person here is cold. That's not how spiritual kindness works.
Right.
It's on good and hot for everybody all the time.
Right.
That's how spiritual kindness works.
Thank you, Lord.
Even if you hurt me,
Right.
I'm still kind to you.
Amen.
Praise God.
Yes, Lord.
Even if you offend me, it doesn't affect my kindness towards you.
Amen.
I'm still kind.
Thank the Lord.
And the reason why, because, see, the scripture says, Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever.
Right.
Scripture said, God said, I'm the Lord and I change not.
Right.
See, when it comes to spiritual kindness, it's not, what's the word I'm trying to say? It's not predicated. That's what I'm trying to
That's
say.
it, brother.
It's not predicated on conditions or
Right.
situations
Right.
or circumstances
Come on,
or
brother.
relationships. Whatever the case is, spiritual kindness is always on,
Praise the
good
Lord.
and hot, all the time for everybody.
Amen. Amen.
We're talking about spiritual kindness this morning. It says in Ephesians 4:32, and be ye kind. It didn't say try to be.
Right.
It didn't say try to be. Do the best you can. He said, and be ye kind one to another. He's talking to the church this morning. Tender-hearted. Not hard-hearted. Not callous-hearted.
Right.
Anybody had calluses before on their feet?
Oh, Lord.
That's a bad thing. Just thick. I mean, you gotta take a knife and just scrape it. We don't see when it comes to kindness. It's not. We're not callous-hearted. We're tender-hearted.
Right.
It says forgiving.
Amen.
Spiritual kindness. There's forgiveness.
Right.
It says forgiving one another. Forgiving one another. Even as God, for Christ's sake, has done what? Forgiven you. Now, what sins that have you not been forgiven of God?
Right, brother. Good question.
What sins is God holding against you?
Yes.
Amen.
I thank God that all my sins were passed into a sea of forgiveness to be remembered again no more. Thank God for forgiveness.
Praise God. Amen.
God has forgiven us.
Yes, yes.
Every sin
That's it.
has
That's
been
it.
passed into a sea of forgiveness.
That's it right there.
So who am I to hold somebody?
Right, bro.
Who am I to have a grudge?
Glory. Praise the Lord. Amen.
Who am I to feel like I just can't
Right.
let this go?
Amen.
My God.
My God. Right.
That's what hell is for. Just saying.
My God. Good message.
It said, be ye kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another. Thank God that there's forgiveness.
Amen.
Thank God that with spiritual kindness there's forgiveness.
Amen.
Even if God for Christ's sake has forgiven you. It says, put on therefore as the elect of God or the saints of God, if you saved this morning, holy. Holy means pure, clean, undefiled. Don't you know the spiritual kindness? If we have spiritual kindness, it'll keep us clean. It'll keep us pure. It'll keep us undefiled. It says bowels of mercy.
Yes.
Bowels.
Animal.
Kindness. Thank God that there's kindness. Spiritual kindness. Now, there's other things that's connected with this. Humbleness of mind.
That's it, brother.
A person that is kind is humble.
Yes.
A humble person is a kind person. You know why? Because when you're humble, you're not going to always feel like you got to have the last word.
Right.
Jesus.
My God.
Amen.
Amen.
Always got to have the last word.
Right.
Always got to have something to say.
My point of view. My Lord.
Humbleness of mind.
Amen.
Meekness.
Yes.
As one preacher used to say, meekness is not weakness, it's power under control.
Right.
Thank God that there's a whole lot of stuff we could say and do, but you know what? When meekness kick in, you know, I don't have to say that.
Right, brother.
I don't have to act that way.
Praise the Lord.
I don't have to respond like that. As a matter of fact, I don't have to say a thing.
Right. Right.
Just keep my mouth shut and
That's
let
it,
the
brother.
Lord have his way.
I know that's
Praise
right.
God.
Amen.
I'm talking about spiritual kindness.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
I'm telling you, it's a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice because a lot of times this flesh want to rise up.
Sure.
And a lot of times you're right, you're correct. But see, we're dealing with the Spirit of God this morning.
Right.
The Spirit of God said, okay, you're right, but.
Yes.
Right? Okay, that's true, but.
That's it,
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I've seen people, they exercise their right away. They exercise their right away out there on the road. And as they used to say, yeah, you're right, dead right.
My God.
You go ahead and exercise your right, you
Yep.
wind up backsliding.
That's
Yes,
it,
sir.
brother.
Yes, sir.
You want to exercise your right, you see the person's going off.
Not profitable.
You know, it doesn't make sense. A lot of times we have to yield the right way. When we're kindness, when we have spiritual kindness,
Right.
it'll teach us how to yield.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Amen.
Yes, sir.
Praise the Lord.
How to yield.
That's good.
Right, brother.
It said, put on that first elect of God, holy beloved, bowels of mercies, kindness, humbleness of mind, meekness, long suffering. There go that word long suffering again. See how those words are connected? Kindness and long suffering. You can't separate the two.
Yes.
They can't be separated.
Right. Praise God.
Go with me. Let's see, Colossians 3:12. I believe that was 13. Colossians 3:12 and 13. All right. It says, verse 13, Colossians 3:13. It says, forbearing one another.
Amen.
Forbearing one another. Come on now. Putting up with one another.
Come on, brother.
Yes.
Long suffering with one
Preach,
another.
brother.
Yes.
Long suffering, putting up. When you say put up, we can bear. We can suffer. We say bear, suffer. It says in verse 13, forbearing one another. And doing what? Forgiving. Forgiving. We're talking spiritual kindness this morning.
Right.
Forgiving one another.
Amen.
Thank God that we have spiritual forgiveness.
Right.
We forgive one another.
Right.
Right.
We don't hold one another.
That's it.
We forgive.
Amen.
And if any man have a quarrel, now watch this. If any man have a quarrel or a disagreement
Right.
or a gripe against any, even as Christ forgave you.
Right.
In the same manner
Amen, brother.
that Christ has forgiven you,
Yes.
forgive. You know what? That's the easiest way to deal with problems and situations. Forgive.
Right, brother. That's true.
A lot of times you won't even have to have councils.
Yeah.
You won't have to even have meetings.
That's right,
and a lot of times you won't just forgive.
Forgive. Yep.
And it's over. It's done.
Yep.
Now we know that there are times when things have, you have to work out things. And the Bible says, and all I get understanding. I get that. not overlooking that, but sometimes we just have to forgive
Yep.
and move on.
Amen.
And let God deal with it.
Yes. Right.
Like if we burn ourselves out trying to get everybody to see stuff. No.
Right, brother.
Just forgive and move on.
Praise the Lord. Amen, brother. Right.
Go with me to 2 Peter, if you will. 2 Peter, we're talking about spiritual kindness this morning. Spiritual kindness. But we never want to lose sight of what it means to be kind.
Right.
See, the world kindness, as I said, you know, they turn off on and this one's not so much, this one. We're not talking about that. We're talking about spiritual kindness.
Right.
2 Peter 1 and 5, if you will follow me with the scriptures. It says, and besides this, giving all diligence, add to your faith virtue, and to virtue knowledge. We're going to read 5 through 8. 2 Peter, first chapter. 2 Peter, first chapter, verse 5 through verse 8. Verse 6, and to knowledge, temperance, and to temperance, patience, and to patience, godliness, and to godliness, brotherly kindness. Brotherly kindness. It's not talking about a worldly kindness. It's talking about a brotherly kindness. This is the kindness that we have among each other that the world don't understand.
Right.
Amen.
The world can't comprehend.
Our Lord.
Right.
Because the world holds grudges.
Yes.
The world, they have issues.
Come on, brother.
They're what you call that when they they market. And every time you come, they see that. Okay? Spiritually speaking, if we're not careful, we'll do the same thing. We'll mark something, and we won't treat that person the same because of what they did to me 10 years ago.
Right.
See, I got to say, they marked now.
Right.
I don't care what they do.
My
My
God.
God. Right.
It says to knowledge, temperance, and to temperance, patience, and to patience, godliness, and to godliness, brotherly kindness, and to brotherly kindness, charity. See how those words are connected?
Hold on to me.
Brotherly kindness,
Right.
charity, which is love, the love of God. You cannot have the love of God and not be kind.
Right. Sure.
You cannot have the love of God and be kind to everybody. Saints, sinners, hypocrites, backsliders. We're kind to everybody.
Right.
That's right. That's right.
It's spiritual kindness.
Right, yes.
The world they don't know this. They can't comprehend it.
Amen. Amen.
It said, for if these things be in you and abound, and here's one of the aspects of kindness. Spiritual kindness, it abounds.
Yeah.
It grows. It expands.
Thank God.
The kindness, we're talking spiritual kindness this morning. It expands.
Praise God.
Okay? It expands. In other words, it grows. There's a kindness that God put in my heart for you that it grows. It gets deeper as the years go by.
Yes, sir.
I have more love for the saints now than I've had in my life.
Thank God.
Amen.
More and more, I can say with all assurance that there's no other place I'd rather be on a Sunday morning than with the saints of God.
Amen, brother.
Why? Because I love you all.
Praise God, brother.
There's a kindness that the world don't understand.
Right.
That's right, brother.
So it says, if these things be in you, if kindness be in you, and it abound, it make you that ye shall neither be barren nor unfruitful in the knowledge of our Lord Jesus Christ.
Right.
See, a lot of times we learn things by being quiet.
Right. Yeah.
Okay? Sometimes being spiritually kind, it teaches us how to be quiet, and we can learn things.
Amen.
Okay? And a lot of times what happened is God had to be quiet because to find out that so-and-so did, the spirit wasn't right.
Right.
You wouldn't have seen that if you were just so immersed into getting revenge or trying to get them to see they're wrong. And,
Right.
no, just be kind.
Thank God. Amen.
Just be kind. Spiritual kindness this morning.
Thank God, brother. Amen.
See, we don't want to be unfruitful or unbarren or barren. Unfruitful or unbarren just means useless. Okay? We don't want to become a spiritual wasteland.
Amen.
All right.
But we want to be fruitful. And we want to bear, but we have to learn how to forgive. And we can't do it without spiritual kindness.
Right.
Go with me to Romans, the 9th chapter, if you will. No, I'm checking it. Romans 12. Romans 12, verses 9 and 10. Romans 12, verses 9 and 10. We're talking about spiritual kindness this morning. All right. It says here, let love be without dissimulation. Let love be without dissimulation. One of the definitions is hypocrisy.
Yes, sir.
But there's other definitions too. Now, listen at this. And as I said before, I told the Saints in Joliet, I said, I'll write this down. You bring your notepads, you bring your writing material. I told the Saints there, I said, the dullest pencil is better than the sharpest memory. Okay? So I will write this down. The word dissimulation also implies ulterior motives.
Amen.
Or hidden agendas.
Right.
Love, see, you can't love and not be kind.
That's right.
I'm not kind to you with a hidden agenda.
Right.
I'm not showing kindness to you in the event that I can get something back in return.
My God. Come on, brother.
I don't have any hidden agendas.
Right.
I love you whether you have something to give if you don't.
Amen.
It doesn't affect my kindness to you. There's no hidden agendas.
Right.
No ulterior motives. I had some people in my life, and that's what they did. They did favors, they showed kindness, but it was something like like a card that they put in their pocket that they could pull out sometime later and say, remember I did this?
Come on, brother.
Wait a minute now.
Right.
That's not how kindness works.
Right.
Hold on now.
Amen.
What's this about? I thought you were doing it out of the kindness of your heart.
Right.
You were doing it for a payday.
My God.
That's not spiritual kindness.
My strategy.
Yeah.
Right.
Y'all, ulterior motive.
Right.
That's the type of hidden agendas. I've had people do that to me in my
My
life.
God. Come on, brother.
It says, avoid that which is evil. Cleave to that which is good. It says, be kindly affectionate one to another with brotherly love. See how kindness, see how those words connect? You always, when you see kindness, you see love. When you see love, you see kindness. When you see love, you see being tenderhearted. Right. Being merciful. Long suffering. It's all tied in together. Right. You can't have this and not have that.
Amen, brother.
Okay, it says, let love be without, verse 10 rather, be kindly affectionate one to another with brotherly love. This is the love that we have among ourselves as the church.
Praise God.
We're not talking about the world. We love the world now, but there's a love that we have one for another as saints.
Amen.
There's a special kindness that we have one to another. There's a special favor that we have one to another that the world don't understand.
Right.
See, when Jesus was walking with the 12, there's certain things he did with the 12 he didn't say to the world.
Right.
Because the world wouldn't understand.
Right.
The world didn't care about Christ as a whole.
Right.
So there were certain things that Jesus shared with his saints, with his disciples. He didn't say it to the world.
Amen, brother.
It says, be kind and affectionate one to another with brotherly love, in honor, preferring one another. Thank God that when there's spiritual kindness working, there's an honor that we have one to another. Okay? There's an honor. We honor, preferring ourselves. I should say it, preferring one another. And if we don't prefer ourselves, okay? We prefer one another. That's how spiritual kindness works. Now watch this. Watch the saints. Let's say there's something and we both want it. We both want it really, really bad. And I say, you know what? I'm going to submit to my brother.
Right.
As bad as I want it, I'm going to submit this to my brother.
Right.
And then my brother, he found out that I have a need. My brother said, you know what? Brother, I'd rather that you would have it.
Sure.
And, you know, brother said, well, I appreciate that, but brother, I'd rather you have it.
Right.
Where's the argument?
Amen.
Where's the fussing?
Right.
And the contention? The Bible says in honor, preferring one another.
Amen.
See, that could all argue out.
That's it.
That could all confusion and disagreements and offenses. That could a lot of stuff out.
Yes,
Right.
sir.
Prefer one another.
Amen.
Amen, bro.
Listen, I'm not going to get upset at you if you prefer me. Especially if it's something good.
All right.
If it's something good, you know, don't prefer me to get out there and get hit by a car. I ain't talking about that.
Right.
I'm talking about it's something good.
Amen.
And I prefer you.
Amen.
Right.
That's peace.
Yes, sir.
Amen, bro.
Thank God for that when there's spiritual kindness, we prefer one another in honor.
Right.
But I'll say that you have $1 million.
All right.
It's $1 million. It's free and clear. Brother, I'll give it to you. How about we share it?
Praise
I'll
God.
take $500,000. I can live off of that.
Right.
Don't you take all $1 million?
My God.
And don't, you know, come on.
Amen.
It's kind
It's share.
Right.
See, that's what spiritual kindness is. It cuts out all arguing, fussing,
Right.
disagreements and all this stuff.
Praise God.
Thank God for spiritual kindness this morning. Go with me to 1 Peter, the 3rd chapter. 1 Peter, the 3rd chapter. We're talking about spiritual kindness this morning. Spiritual kindness. 1 Peter 3 and 8, it says, finally, be ye all of one mind, having compassion one of another. It says, love as brethren. Be pitiful or merciful. Be courteous.
Right.
It says in verse 9, not rendering evil for evil or railing for railing, but contrariwise blessing, knowing that ye are thereunto called, that ye should receive inherit the blessing.
Right.
Thank God that when we're kind, there's a spiritual kindness. Thank God that there's mercy in kindness. Okay, there's a courtesy.
Right.
All right. There's a consideration one for another. Okay, we don't run over each other's feelings.
Right.
Okay, there's a consideration that we have one for another. I don't want to hurt my brother. I don't want to disappoint my brother.
Right.
Even if it means inconvenience for me personally. I'd rather be inconvenienced than to hurt my brother.
Come on, brother. It's good.
That's how spiritual kindness works.
Amen.
I'd rather take the offense. I'd rather get the hit.
Sure.
I'll take the bullet.
That's it.
I
That's
got
it.
Right.
See, when spiritual kindness is working like it should, we'll take the bullet for each other.
Amen, bro.
Go with me to 2 Timothy, if you will. We're talking about spiritual kindness this morning.
Amen.
2 Timothy, chapter 2, start at just one verse, verse 24. 2 Timothy, chapter 2, verse 24. It says, and the servant of the Lord must not strive.
Right.
Thank God that there's no strife in spiritual kindness.
Amen.
Thank God that there's no strife, there's no confusion in spiritual kindness. It says, in the servant of the Lord, talking about us, aren't we servants?
Amen.
Right.
It says, and the servant of the Lord must not strive, but be gentle to all men.
Right.
Thank God that there's a gentleness in spiritual kindness. We're gentle one to another.
Right.
I'm gentle towards your feelings.
Amen.
Okay? I'm gentle towards your feelings. I don't want to hurt or disappoint my brother.
Right.
I don't want to cause an offense.
Amen.
So I'll take the inconvenience. It says, but be gentle to all men, apt to teach, patient. Okay? We're patient one with another.
Right.
In spiritual kindness, there's a patience.
Yes, it is.
All right?
Yes, it is.
We're not impatient one with another. You should have seen that years ago. Who I didn't decide how when somebody should
Come on,
see
bro.
something.
Right.
Look at all the stuff I didn't see.
Right.
Wow.
And may not even see now.
My God.
So who am I to try to judge somebody else talking about what they should have seen?
Good message.
You better be careful with that.
Right.
That's it.
Be careful with it.
Amen.
Go with me to Titus. Titus, if you will. Titus. Titus 3 and 1. We're going to read Titus chapter 3 verses 1 and 2. Titus chapter 3 verses 1 and 2. The glory of God. Put on therefore, it said, put them in mind to be subject to principalities and powers, to obey magistrates, to be ready to every good work. And in verse 2 it says, to speak evil of no man, no brawler, but gentle. Okay, but gentle. Okay, is gentleness and kindness, they're tied in together now. All right, there's a connection, there's a common thread. Gentle, showing all meekness unto all men. Thank God that when we have spiritual kindness, we can show all meekness to everybody.
Amen.
There's no exceptions. There's not certain individuals that I just kind of turn down my kindness for them. That's not how it works. There's a spiritual kindness that I'm talking about this morning. It is not predicated, it is not subject to conditions, situations, circumstances. It's not subject to any of that.
Amen. That's right. Praise God.
It says, speak evil of no man. Amen. Don't be a brawler, but be gentle, showing all meekness. Thank God that there's a meekness that is consistent with everybody in kindness.
Amen.
All right, there's a meekness that's there. Go with me to James, the 3rd chapter. James 3, verses 16 and 17. We're talking about spiritual kindness this morning.
Amen.
Good message.
Spiritual kindness. It's nice to be kind.
That's it, brother.
Amen.
See, the Bible says, a desire of every man is kindness.
Amen.
Everybody wants kindness.
Yep.
You can take the most wicked person in the world. I guarantee you, they want kindness.
Yes.
They want kindness.
Yes,
Yes,
sure.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay? I don't care how mean and wicked they are.
Right.
They want kindness.
My God.
James 3, verses 16 and 17. And we wind it on down here. It says, for where envy and strife is, there is confusion in every evil work.
Right.
It says, but the wisdom that is from above is first pure. Thank God for spiritual purity. Okay. Then peaceable. Okay. It's peaceable. There's a peace that's associated with spiritual kindness. There's a peace that is associated with that. There's a gentleness. It says, and easy to be entreated.
Right.
Easy to be entreated. Spiritual kindness makes us easy to be entreated.
Come on, brother.
Oh, my.
Easy to be approached.
Right.
I don't have any bad days where somebody can't come to me this day because,
My God.
he done got up on the wrong side of the bed.
Right.
He done got up on the wrong side of the bed. Well, you better not die.
Right.
Better not die. Come on, get up on the wrong side of the bed. Better not die.
My God. God help.
It says easy to be entreated.
Amen.
You can come to me anytime with a complaint, with a problem, something that you felt that I did wrong. You know what? Even if I don't see it, you know what? Well, I didn't mean that. That was never my intent. You forgive me.
Amen.
Please accept my humble apology.
Right.
That was not my intent. Now, how can somebody argue with that?
Right, bro. That's right.
How you gonna argue with that?
Can't.
Yeah, brother, that wasn't my intent. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean that. Please forgive me.
Right.
Accept my humble apologies.
Amen.
Will you forgive me? What you gonna do? Say no? What you gonna do? No, I ain't.
Right.
What you gonna do?
Oh, Lord.
See, this is how spiritual kindness works. People can't argue with kindness.
Right.
They can't argue with it
Amen.
unless there's something wrong with them.
Sure.
Something got to be wrong with you up here. Seriously.
My God.
Anybody about the Lord's kindness.
Yes, sir.
It says, it says that, but the wisdom that is from above is first pure. We're reading James 3:17. It's first pure, then peaceable, gentle, easy to be entreated. It said, full of mercy.
Right.
Full of mercy. Thank God that when we're spiritually kind, we're full of mercy.
Yes. Amen.
When a person is full of mercy, they're not holding anybody.
Amen.
They have no grudges.
Right.
They have no chips on the shoulder. Full of mercy. Full of good fruits. Full. Well, where's the arguing and fussing at if I'm full of good fruits?
Right.
Spiritual kindness makes us full of mercy and good fruit.
Praise the Lord.
You know, when you go to the store, you don't pick the rotten fruit. You pick the good fruit.
That's good.
That's what people are looking for. They're looking for good fruit.
Right.
Amen.
They're not looking for rotten fruit.
That's right, brother.
Maggots all over
My Lord.
it, spoiled and contaminated.
Right.
I don't want that. You ain't spending your money for that stuff.
Amen.
You want good fruit.
Tamarind.
Stuff to get worms in.
Tamarind.
No, you want good fruit. Good fruit. Good fruit.
Yes, sir.
It says, see, this is what the world is now. The world, look, they want good fruit. They don't care what they give you, but they want good fruit.
Oh, yes.
They don't care what they give you.
Right, man.
They can cuss you out, but when it comes to you, they want good fruit.
Treat them right. Amen.
They want good fruit from you, brother.
Right.
Expectation for you.
Yeah, because that's what they expect. But they cuss you out, they treat you like dirt.
Sure.
But you gotta do me right.
Amen.
I'm looking for some good fruit.
That's backwards. My God.
And you gotta give it to them. So you can't allow ourselves to be controlled and governed by what other people
Amen,
do.
brother.
Spiritual kindness, that's not how it works.
Right.
It's not predicated on whatever other people do.
Amen.
Right.
They do whatever they want. But my fruit gonna be kind all the time by God's
Praise
grace.
God. Thank the Lord.
By God's grace, gonna be good all the time.
Right.
It said full of mercy, full of good fruits, without partiality. Thank God in spiritual kindness, as we said earlier, there's no partiality.
Right.
Okay, we don't turn it on for this one and turn it off for that one. It's hot for this one and cold for that.
Right.
That's not how spiritual kindness works.
Amen.
It says no partiality, okay, and without hypocrisy.
Right.
Thank God there's no hypocrisy in spiritual kindness this morning.
Amen.
And we're going to go back to Ephesians.
Thank God.
We'll go back to Ephesians, the 4th chapter, and go in verse 1. We're almost done. We've got a few more scriptures. The Lord said the same will close. We're talking about spiritual kindness this morning. It says, I therefore, Ephesians 4:1, I therefore, the prisoner of the Lord, beseech you that you are worthy of the vocation wherewith ye are called. Every one of us that got saved is called. We accepted the call.
Right.
Okay? Jesus said, you didn't chose me, I chose you.
Right.
We all were called.
Amen.
And we accepted the call.
Yes, we did.
And when we accepted the call, we were chosen.
That's right.
So God called us. We accepted the call. And it says in verse 2, with all lowliness or humility. Okay? With all lowliness or all humility. There's not a situation, a circumstance in life that would justify me not being lowly or humble. This situation here, I can throw humility out the window. That's not how that works.
That's right.
Spiritual kindness is consistent regardless of the circumstance.
Amen.
It's not something we can turn off whenever we get ready. It says, with all lowliness. It says, with all meekness. And we talk about meekness, power under control. We have the power to change situations many times just by being quiet
That's true, brother.
and can turn it around.
Sure, that's right.
Didn't say a word,
Right.
but God was able to take that quietness and turn the situation around.
That's true. Right. That's right. Amen.
See, the Spirit of God doesn't need me.
Right.
The Spirit of God don't need me to change things.
Amen, brother.
We say something we've been messed up.
Amen.
Spirit of God don't need me.
That's right. Sure don't, brother.
So we have to learn how to be quiet. It says with all lowliness, with all meekness,
Yes.
with long suffering.
That's right.
Thank God that in spiritual kindness there's a long suffering.
Amen.
That's right.
And it says, forbearing one another in love.
Yes.
Other words, I have to put up with your shortcomings
Right.
as you put up with mine.
Amen.
Okay? And as I said before, if you look for fault, if you really want to find some fault, come to me.
Sure.
Come to me. You'll find it.
Come on, brother.
You're not going to find no will for sin by God's grace.
Amen.
You're going to look for fault.
That's right.
You'll find it.
Amen.
Come to me.
It's the difference.
That's it. That's it. It's a difference.
It said, with all lowliness, all meekness, long suffering, forbearing, putting up with one another in love. What do you mean putting up with one another in love? Well, we told you what love does. It covers a multitude of sins.
Yes.
It covers a multitude of faults. That's what love does. That's just one of the natures or one of the characteristics of love that it covers. That's not talking about covering willful sin and hiding sin and hypocrisy. It's not talking about that. It's talking about faults. Okay? It's talking about faults. Okay? It covers a multitude of faults. It covers now in the world now. They don't care. They'll cuss you out.
Right.
Let me give you an example of what I mean when I say it covers a multitude of sin.
All right.
I gave this illustration before about, and you all heard it. I was on the job there, and the supervisor, he was just constantly calling me to the office, petty stuff. Well, I wouldn't say petty, but it didn't warrant me having to be called to the office every night.
Right, bro.
I never took a single incident home.
Amen.
My wife at the time didn't have a clue what was going on.
Praise God.
She had no clue. And that stuff went on for months.
Mm.
I didn't bring that mess home. I left it right there at the time clock.
Amen, bro.
Covering a multitude of
Good,
sins.
bro.
Amen.
Amen.
My wife at the time didn't have a clue
Amen.
what was going on. And she left this world and didn't know that I was going through that.
Amen.
My first wife. She had no clue, had no idea.
Amen.
That's it. Put that.
Not bringing that mess home.
Right.
Love covers a multitude.
Amen.
It covers. That's what I'm talking about. They say it covers a multitude of sins. That was wrong what that man was doing. I didn't deserve that. I didn't say nothing to him. I didn't say nothing to my wife. I didn't say nothing to the other employees.
Right.
Amen.
Good, brother.
They knew what was going on. They were looking for me to say something.
Sure.
I didn't say a word.
Amen.
Cover a
Good example.
multitude of sins.
Good example.
Amen. That's
We're almost
good.
done.
That's good, brother.
It says, all lowliness and meekness, with long suffering, forbearing one another in love, endeavoring, doing everything in our power
Amen.
to keep the unity of the Spirit among us.
Yes, sir.
Among us, right here. This is where the unity of the Spirit starts, right here.
Amen. Come on.
This is where it starts, right here, right now.
Right.
Because unity is in the Spirit.
That's it.
The power of anything is in the Spirit of it.
Right.
So if we want unity, we have to be in the Spirit. Simple as that.
True.
Endeavoring to, and it said get. Notice that now. It didn't say endeavoring to get.
Amen.
It said to keep. The unity of the Spirit, see, the unity is in the Spirit. The Spirit don't have to get it. If we're in the Spirit, we got to fight to keep it.
Right.
Because we have a whole lot of outside sources trying to get in
Oh.
with wedges, get in with all kinds of stuff to try to get in and disrupt the unity among us.
Right.
Yes, amen.
But as long as we're in the Spirit, we have unity.
Amen.
That's right.
We have it.
Thank the Lord.
Amen.
Now it's up to us to endeavor to keep it.
Amen.
Right.
Amen.
We got to endeavor to keep it now.
Amen, brother.
So we have an adversary. He's doing everything he can to disrupt,
Right.
to put in wedges, to bring thoughts.
Mm.
And if we're not careful, we'll accept the thought and not prove it out.
Yes.
See, that's not how spiritual kindness works.
Amen.
If I have an issue or a thought, the Bible says prove all things.
Yes.
Right.
Hold fast that which is good.
Oh, yes, amen.
If we don't obey that scripture, the devil gets something in our hearts.
Right.
Next thing you know, I'm bitter.
True.
I'm looking at the saints funny.
Right.
I'm looking at the pastor funny.
Yes.
I can't accept so and so. You know, I'm looking at the services funny now.
My God.
Sure.
We need to really understand the importance of spiritual kindness. There's a lot that's tied into it. It says, and this is the last scripture, Lord says the same, we're going to close out. It says, endeavoring to keep, not to get, but to keep. We got to fight to keep it.
Yes, sir. Amen.
We got to fight.
Amen. Yes.
If we don't fight, we're going to lose.
Yes.
Right.
Paul said, fight out. He said, but I'm not going to beat the air. I know what I'm fighting against.
Amen.
We know what we're dealing with.
Right.
We're dealing with, this is the spirit age. And these spirits want to come in right among us and disrupt our unity.
True.
But we're not going to let it by God's grace, are we?
Right.
That's right. That's
We're
right.
not going to let it. So it says here, endeavoring to keep the unity of the Spirit. The unity of the Spirit
Right.
in the bond of peace. Thank God for His word. Thank God for spiritual kindness this morning. We can stand. Let's stand.